Rural Heritage on RFD TV is brought to you by Rural Heritage Magazine, a bi-monthly magazine featuring articles about farming and logging with draft animal power, small-scale diversified family farming and homesteading, and other aspects of our rich rural heritage. Rural Heritage Magazine, borrowing from yesterday to do the work of today. For subscription information, please call 319-362-3027 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com. Hi, I'm Joe Mishka. Welcome to another episode of Rural Heritage TV. Every 2 years, Tom Renner hosts a giant show on his Belleville, Illinois farm called 100 Years of Horsepower, where he features equipment showing the early days of agriculture all the way to the modern machines of today. One of the teamsters at the event was Bill Reynolds of Blueford, Illinois. Bill had brought 3 of his crossbreds and hooked them 3 abreast to a disc harrow. The day we visited, Bill had the only horse-drawn hitch demonstrating in the field.
You say unicorn, you mean a team in back and one in front?
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got the ponies for it now.
Yeah, I do.
All these ponies? Yeah, you do.
Well, no, they're over 14 hands.
Are they?
Yeah.
Not much over.
Not much.
They're
Not much. It's really stretching it for that one on that side to call her 14, but I do.
Sure.
And
well, they don't know that they're not big horses, I'm sure.
No, they certainly don't.
Right.
And I started hooking them to these discs, and I was kind of worried about them being able to pull it. Well, they pull it at a trot. You know, they just walked off with it. And my disc at home is a tandem disc. It's double. And they like I say, they'll trot to that. Let me get her hooked up because she's getting a little restless.
Well, they stand good for you.
They do.
They stand real good.
They do. Get around, Rosie.
Halflingers can be a little hot.
Well, Morgans can too.
Yes, sir. You're right.
Morgans can too. And I'm on the wrong single tree. Come around, Rosie. Come around, Rosie. What did I do here? No, I'm right. And I've started riding them, and this gal here on the trail, I took her down to Shawnee National Park. She's not afraid of anything. She just, nothing bothers her. I was riding with people that had these 8 and 10-year-old quarter horses, and every once in a while one of them would see something it didn't like. She never did.
Wow.
And as far as I can remember, that's her first time ever on a trail.
And you can't really train disposition. That's
no,
that's
you can't. You can improve behavior.
Yes, sir.
But but the disposition that they've got is what they've got.
Yes, sir.
And like I say, I've been real proud of them. I'll tell you the story. I don't know if you want to put it on there or not, but the father of all of these 2 are full brother and sister. No, I'm telling you wrong. These 2 are full brother and sister. This is a 3/4 sister. This one's mother was out of the same mare as this one's mother, and she died.
Okay.
And this one tried to nurse its grandmother, and I said, if I can get her on that mare, I don't have to bottle feed her. Right. And so I forced that mare to let her nurse, and after about 3 times, she took them and she raised both of these at the same time.
Wow.
It was this one's grandmother and this one's mother.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
That's a rare thing.
It is. And she raised both of them. Get over. Come on, Tiger.
Well, and that speaks to the disposition as well.
It does. Well, the mare, she was a halflinger that we're talking about. Their mother was one of my best pony ride ponies.
Okay.
If I ever put a kid on that pony, I never had to look around to see if it was all right. And she would actually stop the pony ride if she felt the kid slip. She would actually lock up, and she wouldn't move until we came and got that. If they stopped, I almost always, I knew to look for her because she was about to lose her kid. But well, like I
So
say,
you got a Morgan Stallion nearby, or?
no, I owned it.
Oh, you have a Morgan Stallion?
I did.
Oh, okay, you did.
I did, yeah.
All right.
And that's a funny story too. Went to an estate sale, and they advertised Morgans, and I've always wanted them. You know, they had some registered mares and that stallion. And I went the night before. It was an estate sale, and I went the night before and told them I wanted to look at that Morgan Stallion. And they took me out and showed me the ugliest horse you've ever seen. I mean, it was just butt ugly. And I said, well, I don't want that. But they did have some other things I was interested in, so I went the next day. I didn't take my horse trailer or anything, but I went the next day. About noon, they said we're going to sell that Morgan Stallion now, and they brought out a completely different horse.
Huh.
And it came out of that stall, and it was screaming, and it was kicking, bucking, and the guy that was leading it is a pretty good horseman from my hometown, and he's a good horseman, and it drug him all over the lot and everything. And I bought that horse for $83.
When was this?
It's several years ago, but still, even at that, it was ridiculously cheap.
Right.
And
I got an old style Morgan.
No, he was more of a new style. Yeah, okay. These kind of came up looking like old style, but it's because they got the halflinger.
Yeah, they got the frame.
Yeah, he was more of a leggy.
Yeah.
But anyway, the rest of that story is I got there and I was trying to back my trailer. I had to go home and get my trailer. Came back and I was trying to back it up to the pen so I could just run that horse up in it. And the widow of that owned it came out and said, why don't you lead him in there? And I said, well, is he broke the lead? And she said, why, sure. And I walked in the pen, snapped the lead strap on him, and just led him out to the trailer and threw him in, tied him up, never moved, never acted bad at all. I got him home, and he squealed at my mares, which I expected. Sure. But anyway, I got him out of there and took him into a pen, and he started eating hay. He just calmed right down. And I said, this is not kosher.
Right.
So anyway, I went and got a saddle blanket, threw it on him, he never moved. Put a saddle on him, cinched it up, he never moved. When I went to put a bridle on him, he opened his mouth for the bits. Now, this horse is broke, and I climbed on and rode him for 45 minutes. He was a good riding horse.
Wow.
But the deal was, he had been in that stall ever since the man died, hadn't been out, and that was the first time they opened that stall door.
Wow.
And he was ready to go.
That's abuse.
It is, but you know, it's one of those.
It's understandable.
It's one of those things you get into.
Yeah. Sure.
The
Especially
guy
with a stallion.
Yeah, the guy died, and the wife couldn't take care of the horses.
Yeah.
You know.
So was it a different horse though?
What's that?
So you saw one horse one day and a different horse the next day.
Yes.
Were they trying to trick you?
No, I think
they just happened to bring out a different horse?
Yeah, they told this kid to go show me the horse, and I think he just showed me the wrong horse.
Huh. That's a great story. Well, that stallion was lucky to find you. That was a happy ending.
I got six or seven colts out of him, and he had some age on him. He was an old horse, and he didn't live. And I hated that. He was such a good horse.
Yeah.
And produced really good colts.
Now
I've got these 3 out of a Morgan, out of a halflinger.
Right.
Then I've got 2 at home out of a half Arab.
Really?
And they are really nice.
What's the other half on the Arab?
That Morgan. The saddlebred.
Saddlebred, okay.
All right. They're out of a saddlebred Morgan. I'm telling you wrong. Saddlebred Arabian.
Yeah.
And then crossed them with my Morgan.
Yeah, so that's a pretty alert saddle horse then, the progeny.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Right. That's a nice hybrid.
The 100 Years of Horsepower show featured displays of vintage tractors, steam engines, farm trucks, and a wide variety of farm machinery.
We now have 4 volumes of America's Rural Yesterday books with photos of farm life 100 years ago. Fieldwork has images of horses in the fields working the ground, planting and harvesting the crop. Barn and Farmyard shows farmers putting that crop in the barn, silo, or corn crib and caring for poultry, hogs, cattle, and more. In At Home and in Town, farm families prepare Sunday dinner, relax in the parlor, drive to town by buggy or wagon, and visit the general store. Finally, Early Tractors has over 250 photos of early American tractors like Alice Chalmers, Oliver, John Deere, Farmall, Minneapolis Moline, and many more. These photos are of new tractors back in the day and show how they were configured coming out of the factory. Buy any of these books for $24.95 plus shipping. When you buy 2 or more, the price per book goes down, all the way to $17.49 per book when you buy all 4. To order, just call 1-877-647-2452 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com. That's 877-647-2452.
We spent a little time in Tom Renner's museum looking at his vast collection of farm tools, field implements, and household items from the early 19th and late 18th centuries. We found a root vegetable cleaner we didn't recognize, and a young man from the area told us about it.
I grew up on a farm. We're actually 5 miles away from here, so it's right down the road.
Row crop farming, probably?
Yeah, row crop. Yep, row crop, chickens, pigs, anything you can think of. We pretty much had it.
Okay, all right. So do you still have a diversified farm there? Or?
Yeah, yep. Still have farm. It's about 200 acres, so pretty small farm, but.
You're interested in old, vintage farm equipment, it seems like.
Yeah, oh yeah, I like this stuff. It's pretty interesting to see the history of it. I'm a big history nerd, but I like to see the history of it, how it was used, how they did farming back in the day. It's pretty interesting to see.
Have you known Tom for a while?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we would say we're not super good friends, but we go down to the dealership a fair amount and order parts from him and help with the show. So.
Sure. This is a pretty incredible collection here.
Yeah, it is. It's the best one I know of, honestly, but it's pretty incredible to be able to give tours and answer questions in here.
And what's particularly interesting to me, and this is what I've told Tom before, that he's kind of a puzzle. He's kind of an enigma. He and his son especially, they use really big tractors.
Yes,
for doing their corn.
Yes.
He and especially his son love vintage big
tractors.
Yeah,
I like the big tractors too. They're pretty incredible to look at. Really cool. But yeah, you do not see that a lot. A lot of times they like brand new stuff, but.
I mean, they've got some old articulating big tractors.
Stuff all the way back in the 70s, 60s even. They still run it. But that's pretty incredible. It's cool to see them out there.
And it's a huge collection.
Yeah.
I mean, you go through building after building.
Oh, yeah. Very big.
So you got that on one hand, and then you got Tom who raises mules, raises Belgians, uses them.
Yeah, he's done that a long time.
And then he collects all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a very busy man, I'll say that. I'm not sure how he does it, but he does. He keeps up with this, with the Belgians, with all the tractors and the show, and the dealership too, which is pretty incredible. I don't know how he does it.
You were telling me that there's a John Deere mower down there that come from your farm?
Yes, sir. So that was my grandpa's mower that he had for a long time. It had an adjustable wrench that would sit in the toolbox at an angle, and over the years it just kind of rattled away at that lid. Eventually it broke. So eventually he sold it, and Tommy Renner bought it and put it in the museum here. It's right down there. Now it wasn't in near as nice condition as it is now.
Right.
But
yeah, he does an amazing job of getting it into one of his shops and having people work on it.
Yeah, so horse-drawn mower. My grandpa was big into horses. That's actually how we got started coming to the show. My grandpa would run down here back before it was what it is now. But yeah, he was big on horses. We still have mules, and he'd mow everything with that little horse-drawn sickle. And that's how he do it.
Cool. At the entrance to this museum, there's 4 or 5 old-timers that will answer questions. Some of them better than others, but they have knowledge. And then there's you.
Yeah. It's
you don't really fit the mold.
Well, yeah, not really. I've had that before, but we all know all of them. There's Ron Hossman, Kenny Hossman, and Norbert Hubert, I believe his last name is. I'm not sure.
I think it is.
But
He's the only one I know.
Yeah, he's probably the most knowledgeable, if I had to say. Nothing against Ron or Kenny, but
And then we walk up to what turns out to be a root vegetable cleaner.
yes. Yep.
And none of us know what it is, but you do. How do you know that?
To be honest, I'm not sure with you. I've seen them at auctions before. That's how I learn a lot of this stuff, just going to auctions and talking with old people. My dad, he knows a fair amount about this too, so sometimes I'll have to call and back up and send him a picture telling him, hey, what is this? But
A lot of people worry that this knowledge is kind of going away as more and more of us get older. You're kind of rescuing it.
yeah, I would say there's a lot of people don't realize how many people, especially when you get like 4-H kids and stuff like that. There's a lot of people know a lot more about this than you think. Even today, I just had some kids that just to look at them, I wouldn't have thought they wouldn't have known anything, but they were pretty knowledgeable for their age. They were younger than me, but they knew a lot. I was surprised. But it was pretty impressive.
We're back with Bill Reynolds and his 3 abreast of small horses.
Yeah, and also since I've seen you, we've done some movies, and I've used most of these horses in the movie. That one I was telling you about out of the half Arab mare is she's just rock solid, and she's a big mare, and General Grant rides her in one scene, and then
That's appropriate.
yeah, then her mother was ridden by a bugler, and I rode my Lusitano, and I'm a major in the Civil War.
Okay.
But
Well, I love these horses. They are alert. You know, they're looking around, their ears are forward, but they are standing so good.
yeah, they are
You're
alert.
pretty good with voice commands, I bet. When you're driving them.
It's pretty good. As a matter of fact, if I clear my throat, grunt, or anything else, they think I said whoa, and they'll just stop dead in their
Happy to
track.
stop.
Yeah, stopping is one of the things they're best at.
Well, that's a good feature. That's one
Yeah.
of the most important features.
Yeah, but it does kind of get aggravating because I'll clear my throat and they'll quit. And
So, Bill, for the camera, tell me your name again and tell me where you
Bill,
live.
William Reynolds is my official name, and my official location is Horse Creek, Illinois. Now, no one's ever heard of Horse Creek. You have, because you crossed it. But my address is Bluford, Illinois, and it's close to Mount Vernon. So that's the location
How
I'm
many
at.
do you have at home then? With these?
I've got 6 more.
You got 6 more. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you still have a pretty good sized herd. You're talking that you were downsizing, but
I did. I got rid of all the mules,
Yeah.
and there were 7 of them.
okay.
And since I've seen you, I've lost a couple due to old age.
Yeah.
I had 2 or 3 horses there that were over 30.
This program is available for purchase. To order your copy, please call 319-362-3027 or visit www.ruralheritage.com. Rural Heritage is a bi-monthly magazine dedicated to draft animal farming and logging, as well as other aspects of our rich rural heritage. It is published by Mishka Press, which also offers a complete line of Back to the Land books, DVDs, and calendars. Call or write for a catalog or subscription information, or visit our website at www.ruralheritage.com.